Hello, it's Dr. Rowe here and welcome to the series on life purpose. And you'll be excited to know that from the survey that we actually put out to a large number of people, this was the #1 area that came back that people wanted to focus on more than anything else. You might think, well, surely it was health or wealth or even relationships, which is one of the big subject areas for most people. Actually, purpose and lack of direction came up as #1. I think more than 55% of the people that actually filled in the questionnaire and came back, that was the driving force that came back from the question. So I thought I'd tackle this subject head on. We're going to do this in 4 parts, and the first part of this video is going to be talking about what is purpose, what does it mean to you, and from all the years I've spent working with people from top entrepreneurs right through to somebody in their teens searching for a sense of purpose. What is it? Well, let me tackle it another way. Let's talk about what is not having purpose. And if any of this resonates with you, you might relate to it. When somebody wakes up in the morning and they lack purpose, the typical reflection of that in their life are things like they lack motivation. They can't seem to get through a day or a week or a year in a motivated way. Or they are apathetic. Their energy feels low. They don't feel particularly focused. They don't feel as if they've got any direction. And they just amble along. Another area when you know somebody lacks purpose is their demeanor. They tend to walk with a slow energy. If you saw them walking along, they'd look like this, they'd feel like this. The conversations you have with them lack any spark. They're not the sort of people you tend to want to hang around with for a long length of time because they're not even driven by any sense of direction. And I'm saying this because sometimes it's easier to identify what you're not feeling than what you are feeling. And in this case, hopefully I've pressed a few buttons with you. So lack of purpose is something to be aware of. Now, if you're watching this right now and you've come through programs, for example, with Legacy Education, it might be that you've come through the door with us and you're brand new to personal development. If you're looking at any area of business, your personal life, if you're looking to start a new business, change career, change direction, anything like that, I can tell you now, if there is no sense of purpose around that vehicle, that direction you're going, you will very quickly go off track. And people often ask me, what do I think one of the things that stops people building a successful business? I'll say to them it's because they actually haven't defined the purpose of the business. It's not to make money. A lot of people believe that I'm in this business to make money. That is a function of the business. The profitability of the business is a major function. But ultimately, if you're building a business, there has to be a purpose behind it. So the second thing I say to people is this. Don't think that purpose has to be a huge, oh my God, if I haven't got my purpose in life, I'm going to die. Actually, I actually believe that you should have a purpose in your personal life and in your business life or your career. Now remember, this is a mini-series. This is basically an introduction series to something that's going to become a lot deeper. I'll be able to take you through a much deeper process when you spend more time with me on our series where we're going to break this down into a lot more detail. But for now, what I'd like you to do is go away and think about this. In your life right now, where do you personally feel you have most purpose? Is it with you being a family member, possibly being a parent? Is it that your purpose is more driven in the area of health? You may be really motivated by going to the gym, training and going running, but you're actually not motivating to spend time around your kids. Or it might be the other way around. You might be very motivated to spend time around your kids, but not motivated to get fit. Or maybe you're motivated to get healthy at the moment. Generally speaking, if you actually take a look at the areas right now as you're listening to me that you feel most motivated, it is almost always to do with the fact you've got a greater sense of purpose. You know what you want to achieve in that area. You've got a very clear vision in that area, and that's why you're able to be motivated. So as you're watching this video right now and you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable, the signs that usually show up when somebody is lacking motivation and purpose is because you're not waking up in the morning and being driven in that area. It's one thing to stand on the tube, going to work, getting to work, doing your job and coming home and not feeling motivated there. That is another area altogether. That's when we talk about career, we talk about business. I have a lot of people come through that want to talk about property business, and when I sit with them they say to me, well, the reason I really want to do this is because I want to make a lot of money. And I say, okay, let's just assume for a minute that everything you learn through Legacy Education is definitely going to make you money. Why are you doing it? What do you mean? Why are you building a property business? Because I want to be free. Okay, great. So what does the freedom give you? Well, it means I don't have to go to work. Okay, there's the pain, but what about the pleasure? Remember, we're driving along a tunnel and it's completely black. There's no sense of direction. I don't know where I'm going. I slow down, I slow down, I slow down, and I go really slowly because I don't have a sense of clear purpose. So every single business, every career path, every project that you set up has to have a purpose. So my big message to you is this: if you can't get a sense of your huge purpose in life, which for some people it's a bit overwhelming. I get people going, oh, I don't know what my purpose is. We'll come back to that in a minute, by the way. I would start by looking at key areas of your life. So on a personal level, think about family, health, relationships. Start there. On a business level, look at your projects that you're working on, your business, and maybe in your career. And find out why you're doing it. Decide what the reason for doing it is. And if any of those areas lack a sense of clarity, I promise you right now, that is your purpose, and that's where you'll be losing motivation. And that's one of the areas that we're going to start to focus in as we go through this series and beyond into the longer series, the larger series that I'll be working on. Third thing is this: I'd like you to write this down. Intention plus focus equals attraction. So if you've ever watched a video called The Law of Attraction or The Secret, for example, a lot of people don't realize if I take a tuning fork and I hit the tuning fork in this hand here, and then I take another tuning fork over here, which is a C note. If I hit the vibration on this note, this hand over here, if it's holding the right note, in other words, the right tuning fork, will start to vibrate. This is the law of harmony, the law of resonant frequency. If this was a D note and this was a C note, and I hit the C note, the D wouldn't vibrate. In order for you to attract into your life your purpose, you have to be completely aligned with that which you want to attract. If you remember, Gandhi said, become the thing that you want to happen in the world. And that's what I'm talking about with your purpose. You've got to be aligned with it. So intention comes from inside. That's the core of who you are, the purity of it. You can do a great job, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's actually who you are as a person. So choose a path which is aligned with who you are, and then you have to focus. That's hitting the tuning fork and going, bing, and really getting the frequency up. The two combined create an amazing sense of attraction, and that's what's going to bring great opportunity to you as well. The other thing I want to get clear to you is this, and this is part 4, if you like, of this process we're going through this morning, is this. Purpose equals, write this down, your values plus your identity plus a greater sense of who you are. You have to have a purpose beyond who you are. What are your values? What do you value most? Do you value success most, or do you value health most? Do you value love and connection with other human beings versus do you value being important and significant and putting other people down? Because your value hierarchy, and that's something we're going to cover in a whole different series, your value hierarchy will literally define how you show up on a day-to-day basis. Now, part of that includes your identity. Who are you? Often most people meet, if I was to meet you now, I'm going to reach down to the camera, if I shook your hand, I would say to you, who are you? Tell me about you. Most people in a career or in a job, they shake hands and they say, oh, what's your name? What do you do? So they're defined by what you do. You have to understand who you are at an inner core level, and that's something we're going to expand on as we go through this process. So to wrap up this very first part, what I want you to do as a minor exercise is to go away over the next 48 hours to a week, look at where you're feeling excited about certain areas of your life, and I can guarantee you, if you look deep enough, you'll find you actually have clarity of purpose in those areas. And the areas that you lack motivation is where you don't have a good sense of your purpose, okay? And just remember this, don't get hung up about this. Your purpose will find you. The same way 10 people in a room with a tuning fork with a C, and you're holding a D, what will happen is when you hit that note, you'll attract to you anything that is in alignment with who you are. So your purpose will find you. That's the end of this particular part right now. Let's go to part 2.